The National Assembly is set to receive an executive bill on the new minimum wage on Tuesday, following an agreement between President Bola Tinubu and labor leaders for higher work remuneration. This is according to the Special Advisor to the President Tinubu on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, who confirmed that the lawmakers would receive the executive bill on the new minimum wage by Tuesday to ensure the agreement is legally binding and ready for implementation. To discuss this, I'm joined by a public affairs analyst, Dotun Ojon. Hello, Dotun. Thank you so much for joining us at this time.
Good morning. It's good to be here.
All right, Dotun, after some negotiations, the organized labor groups, agreed with the Nigerian government to set the minimum wage at 70,000 naira. That's down from their initial demand of 250,000 naira. Is this a victory for Nigerian workers and the dignity of their labor?
Okay, it's a good place to start, but I think what will be total victory will be the fact that whatever you earn within the country, you can go to the market and you have value for your money. It's not a subject of how much we earn at the moment. It's a question of how much what you earn can actually get you. As you know, the current minimum wage is about 120% increase. But if you put this side by side with the reality of what is in the marketplace in Nigeria today, you will know that the prices or inflation has gone really, really high. So if you're looking at it from this point of view, you will say that our clamor should actually go a bit beyond minimum wage. We should look at what minimum wage can earn, as it were, in the market today. So everybody within the government must be able to come together to work towards having an economic policy that will further drive down the issue of inflation within the country and not just stay at the 70,000 naira minimum wage.
All right, now, Dotun, some quarters actually argue that this amount is more realistic for state governments and the organized private sector to afford, especially considering that some states are still struggling to pay the current 30,000 naira minimum wage. What's your take on this?
Absolutely. Though it will not be acceptable for anyone to argue on the side of any state today. I am somebody that is actually interested in how some of the states are being run. And if you dig really deep into the books of the state, you discover that one of the reasons why a lot of them are unable to pay is pure mismanagement and lack of priority. But my take this morning, my support will be for the private sector. If you look at the reality of running a business in Nigeria today, it's become extremely difficult. And in Nigeria, for instance, we have about 25 modular refinery. About 10 of them are working. But in the past few months, they've been finding it difficult even to get forex, to be able to get crude. So the private sector is finding it a bit difficult to run business in Nigeria today. So to consider them is actually a big thing. And if you look at the percentage of people really that are in government payroll, you discover that the chunk of the people that will benefit from minimum wage are actually from the private sector. So it makes a lot of sense that we are not just hovering around figures. It makes a lot of sense that we are not just being adamant on a figure. It makes a lot of sense that we are bringing everybody within the discussion community together to be able to achieve this. So for the private sector, I actually support the government on that.
All right, now, another clause to the new minimum wage is that it will be reviewed every 3 years. So, Dotun, should Nigerian workers find comfort in knowing that, the president has promised to review the minimum wage every 3 years? And, especially, considering the high inflation rate and also the constant currency fluctuations. Yes, exactly. Do you think that this is sustainable?
One fear that I may have is that, though we see it in the book that government is supposed to be a continuum, but the practice in Nigeria is that every administration, as it were, does or have conversation with labor, and when the other one comes in, they find it very difficult to actually execute. A case study is that of ASU. We've been going back and forth since 2009 on some of the agreements in the ASU book with the federal government. So my fear is that if this government or if this administration goes out of power, nobody knows what the next administration would do. And that's why I think that one agreement all of us should have, labor inclusive, is the fact that the government, as much as they are paying 70,000, as much as they intend to negotiate within every three years, as against the 5 years that is known to us, as much as all of these things are on table, I also want us to lay emphasis on the economic reality in Nigeria, so that whatever you are earning, we will not be talking about every three years review if we are actually serious about bringing down the level of inflation. So I think the focus of everyone should be beyond the 3 years review, must be on what we can do with the current situation, that whatever it is that anybody earns will be able to take them home.
All right, Dotun, just before we let you go, you did talk about, being able to go to the market and buy or find value for your money, and also, the living wage. Now, some have actually or argued or still believe that labor leaders should revisit their negotiations and push for a higher minimum wage of, 100,000 naira or more, which they feel is more realistic and fair demand. But now that an agreement has actually been reached, is it possible to, in some way, revisit and revise the terms to better reflect the needs and expectations of the working people in Nigeria? So
one of the problems that the government has in Nigeria is what I call MMM, which is more money mystery. We've always run government in a way that we think more money will take our woes away. And I do not want any one of us, including labor, to fall under this practice also, to think that more money will take our mystery away. For instance, if labor gets 500,000 today, if we do not do anything about the reality of what we have in the marketplace, you will see that the value of the naira will actually go down. Today, CBN has resumed selling dollar to BDC because they are doing everything possible to ensure that at least they bring down whatever it is that is causing the depreciation of the naira. If we do not look at the value of our currency, if we do not look at regulating prices across our marketplaces, if we do not look at production, if we do not look at agriculture, if we do not look at investment in transportation, if we do not look at electricity, you discover that no matter how much people earn, it will go down to the drain. It will not have value. It will not be able to purchase for them what they desire. So we will continue to converse. We'll continue to sit on round table. Labor will continue to engage with government and other stakeholders, but we must not take sight away from the fact that more money may not be something that will solve our problem, but availability of basic amenities that will make life easier for the people.
All right, well, thank you so much, Dotun, for your time and for speaking to us on this.
It's a pleasure always.